Hi. Didn't realize I was live actually. So here we go. Oh no, my mouse is doing it again. I was telling Reverend Lisa that yesterday. We were just getting ready for our soul session on Wednesday, making sure the software was working, and all of a sudden my mouse went wild and poof, things are multiplying and God knows what. But anyway, that's life. First quote is from a guy called James Hollis. He's an American Jungian psychoanalyst. He's an author and a public speaker, and he's based in Washington, D.C. And that's about all I'm going to say about him. And why am I talking about him? Because in this reading called Abundance is Choice, the first quote is from him. And this is what he says. Whosoever we choose newly in the present, wheresoever we choose newly in the present, we render our journey more conscious, larger, and possibly more consistent with what destiny demands. So whenever we make a choice now, we are putting a conscious effort into our own life and our own living and our own future, if you like. As I said, he's a Jungian psychoanalyst. In other words, he's a psychoanalyst in the likeness of Carl Jung, who was a famous 20th century psychoanalyst. And one person whom Reverend Jesse admires an awful lot. Ernest Holmes says this: we cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there's choice. If it were not so, we would not be individuals. So he's saying one thing that makes us individuals is the fact that we have choice. And the truth is that even not making a choice is a choice. That's the wild thing about life. When you consciously make a choice, that's one thing. But when you choose not to make a choice, you've actually made a choice. You've chosen not to do anything, and you're allowing things just to happen. So what Holmes is saying is that we are individuals because we have choice. What I'm saying is that whatever you decide to do, you're making a choice. Even if it's action, it's inaction, it's still choice. So therefore, why not decide to make a choice and have control over your own destiny? And this is what Reverend Jim's got to say. He says, abundance in any area gives us a greater opportunity to choose, while not being excessive or harmful to others or ourselves. Choice is how we express our innate divine freedom. When we have a wide range of choices, our lives are richer and more fulfilling. When our choices are guided by clear intentions, we are more in alignment with whom we are, with who we are. We're abundant when our range of choices is not limited by a lack of enabling energy. We have enough money, freedom, health, creativity, etc., to allow us to move into greater ways of expressing ourselves. When the degree of sufficiency is balanced, we're not limited by too much or too little. This balance extends to all enabling energies. He goes on to say, if I focus too much on making money, I may then have insufficient freedom to make certain kinds of choices. For example, too much energy toward work may result in limitations in my creative energies to make art or to participate in new activities. Finding that essential balance is something we can do from a healthy sense of self-worth. It is insecurity that often leads to excesses in life. Insecurity also can lead to being too restricted, thereby limiting our choices. We can enjoy life's abundances best when we see ourselves enjoying life, doing what is meaningful to us, and living in a balance supported by our spiritual principles. So just quickly, because I've got so much on this evening, there's lots I actually could say about this. This is only part of the story. I think it boils down to this. When we say a world that works for everyone, it's allowing people to have enough food, enough money, etc., to make choices to decide how they want to live. So it goes beyond making just our own simple choices. It goes to actually helping others on the planet to live a life where they have choice. And let's face it, not everybody wants money. You know, people who decide to live in a convent or a monastery have decided that they are sufficient, being allowed to lead a prayer life, having sufficient food. Sometimes they actually do it themselves in their own gardens, etc. Other people want to travel the world. And there's people in other parts of the world who don't have enough to eat. So when Centers for Spiritual Living says a world that works for everyone, I think one of our duties, whoever we are, whether you're a billionaire like Elon Musk with $300 billion, you're a newly elected president like Donald Trump, or you're a nun or a monk in a community that's decided to live a simple life, I think each in our own way have got a duty to help other people in other parts of the world, or even in our own country, to have enough to eat, to have enough to make choices. So that's just my view. And I know a lot of people will totally disagree with that. They'll say you should pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But believe me, that is not always possible. I have gone from plenty when we had a business to when my father died and we had to move in with my grandparents and my mother had to go out to work, to not having a lot, enough to eat, but no spare money, to going to college, getting educated, and having enough money to do a lot of the things I want. So I've seen a lot of parts of the spectrum, but I've never been in a situation where I was really in dire poverty. But I have been poor for not a very long time, admittedly. So anyway, that's just my view on the way the world ought to work. It's to make sure everybody has the ability to live with enough food and enough security, get rid of insecurity, get rid of food scarcity, allow people to have decent housing, and of course, make sure that everybody pitches in and does their own thing. I am not saying by any means that people should be allowed to just say, I don't want to do anything, provide for me. No, I'm not saying that at all. And it's the old dictum, remember, feed a person a fish and you feed them for one meal. Teach a person to fish and you teach them how to provide for themselves for the rest of their lives. Or it could be gardening or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's about all I've got. I'll be back tomorrow about 5. Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning. I think she's coming on earlier these days, somewhere around about 9 o'clock. So tune into her in the morning. Come back and tune into me in the evening. Please give us a like. I really appreciate likes. I see a lot of them coming on, and I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. So until then, and I will remind you tomorrow about our soul session on Wednesday, but I'm not going to overload you. So the affirmations, plural, he's really given us 3, not 1. I'm a natural at choosing wisely and lovingly. I'm a natural at choosing wisely and lovingly. My life unfolds with a deep sense of fulfillment, passion, and creativity. My life unfolds with a deep sense of fulfillment, passion, and creativity. I have enough to spare and enough to share of everything. I have enough to spare and enough to share of everything. So we use one of these, pick your own, but at least do your spiritual work. Until tomorrow, next time, namaste.